The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett by Chelsey Sedoti is a bizarre little book that's going to surprise you.
It's strange enough that it feels like it should be magical realism, but it somehow manages to toe the line.
I mean, how often do you find a book that focuses on werewolves as much as this book does, but stays firmly planted in reality?
Honestly, I think that this is the only one I've ever read.
Hawthorn Creely is a girl with a wild imagination, and she's also an outsider. She fights a lot with her brother, she relies solely on her best friend for company, and is mostly isolated. She hates the town she lives in, but she's also very scared of the changes that leaving high school will bring.
When a girl Hawthorn idolizes and hates disappears from her campsite one night and isn't found, Hawthorn pretends she doesn't care. But she slowly becomes more and more obsessed with Lizzie Lovett.
Hawthorn eventually begins to sink herself into Lizzie's old life in order to come to terms with her disappearance. She gets a job in the diner where Lizzie used to work, she wanders the woods at the campsite where Lizzie was last seen, and she starts to get to know Lizzie's old boyfriend, Enzo.
Everyone has a theory about how or why Lizzie disappeared. Some people think she got lost in the woods, or ran away, was kidnapped, or was even murdered by Enzo. But as months go by and her body still isn't found, the town begins to move on with their lives.
Everyone except Enzo and Hawthorn. Hawthorn's own theory is that Lizzie became a werewolf, and she searches the woods for her every chance she gets.
But this book isn't so much about Lizzie. It's about Hawthorn growing up and growing into who she is. It's about her learning to find magic in the world and getting used to change. It's about how our relationships to ourselves and to others change as we get older. It's about loss and tragedy, but it's also extremely humorous.
Hawthorn is a character that you're not going to forget anytime soon. She has a wild imagination and a childish way of looking at the world. Sometimes she creates drama just for the sake of drama and doesn't know why, and she thinks of things in a very self-centered way.
You can't help but like her and the way she sees the world. After all, anyone who concludes that someone who disappeared must be a werewolf is a special person.
The why of it is one of Sedoti's master strokes in character development. It's Hawthorn's way of dealing with reality, but also trying to make sense of somebody that she both envied and idolized, but it's also her way of capturing the mysteriousness that she feels like is missing in her life.
She also has some fun mannerisms, like cursing the people she doesn't like with minor inconveniences to their lives. Some of my favorites are, I wish every time she microwaved a frozen burrito, the center would stay cold. I wish they would only be able to take cold showers.
The book adds a healthy balance of seriousness and bizarre levity. Hawthorn's curses are just one of the ways the author adds moments of levities to what could have been a very heavy book about missing girls and depression.
And it's filled with a few moments you're never going to forget, like when a convoy of Hawthorn's mother's hippie friends move into the backyard, causing much embarrassment.
At which Hawthorn comments, "I wish all their weed would turn to oregano."
Lizzie also becomes a strong character in the novel because she's unknowable.
Hawthorn has to piece her together from the memories of people who knew her so she doesn't get a clear picture. Ultimately, you come out of the novel feeling like you know everything and nothing about the central force of the novel, Lizzie Lovett.
Enzo is the second largest character in the book. As far as he knew, his relationship with Lizzie was going well, and then she disappeared without a trace.
He begins hanging out with Hawthorn even though she's several years younger than him because she sees the world so uniquely, but also because she's one of the few people left in the town that is actually focused on Lizzie's disappearance.
He and Hawthorn develop a relationship that both helps and hurts them both. It's not your usual relationship, but it feels real, and you can easily see how something so mildly screwed up could develop between the two of them.
Other characters of note are Hawthorn's best friend, her brother Rush, and the hippie sundog. All of their relationships with Hawthorn's go through significant transitions and kind of feel realistic. They might even hit you in the feels.
Writing-wise, Sedoti has a style that very gently highlights the themes and teases your feels. You could compare it stylistically and thematically to something like Spontaneous by Aaron Starmer or John Green's Looking for Alaska.
Sedoti manages to combine a wide range of themes into the book, including being uniquely yourself, being an outsider, finding magic in the world, loss, depression, changing relationships, and looking to the future.
Sedoti slips them in so naturally that it's only when you finish the book that you realize how much was covered.
And you realize that you could reread the book and pick out stuff that you missed.
100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett is a hard book to describe without making it sound crazy, but it's really well done.
You'll find something you relate to on every page, and you'll remember the book long after you put it down. Werewolves and all.